In this video I'm going to add some chamber heaters to my printers. As you can see, most of them are open, but I did make some panels for my Voronezh 1. It looks kind of clumsy, but it does work. In my last build, the Riff 220, I designed that for being enclosed from the start, and it's shown with panels in this rendering. I just have to design a top hat for it. I even bought some panels, these ones made in Denmark, and I think this is going to be a nice solution. There is a wide selection of heaters you can add to your printer, like this one from Big Tree Tech. It's not too bad, and this one's even simpler with a built-in thermostat. And this is a different version of the same thing with a thermostat. These heaters operate completely independent from your printer with a separate digital temperature controller. You can use that with 24 volts, 12 volts or AC 110 to 220 volts. And I have one myself, or rather I have several of these. I'm not using them for anything useful, but they are an option if you would like to keep things simple. I'm going for a slightly different approach. I would like my heaters to be integrated with Klipper and also with Orca slicer. So that's what this is about. As for filtering, I'm using a device like this from IKEA. It's called Förnuftig in Swedish, which is sensible or reasonable. It's a perfect name for it. It has replaceable filters, of course. There's one filter in front. These are quite reasonably priced. And there's a carbon filter at the back of that you also can take out. Thomas and Ludder did a very interesting video about air filtering and cleaning, and he mentioned these filters from IKEA as well. In my case, it wouldn't make any sense to have a small inbuilt filter in one enclosed printer when most of them are open. I would like to add a chamber heater to my new Smol printer, the printer called the Riff 120. And this is the heater, the enclosure for the heater module. It's very simple stuff. The front and the back and an arm. This is the type of heater module I'm using, a ceramic constant temperature heater with a fan. I'm only interested in the 12 and 24 volt versions of this. And I chose some 12 volt versions because I have several 12 volt power supplies I can use for heating. I also prefer to keep mains wiring outside of the printer if possible. I purchased this 70 watt 12 volt version. This is too small for a large printer like the Voronezh 1, but I think it will work in the small printer. The heater module is quite simple, but I still managed to get this wrong the first time. I had the orientation of this unit incorrectly, and it should face this way with the heating elements in front and the fan in the back. So this is a prototype of this enclosure or case. The final product is slightly changed, but almost the same. This chamber heater was designed for my small printer, but I couldn't wait for that to be completed, so I added one 70 watt and one 120 watt heater to my Voronezh 1 to test this out. In order to control heaters like this, you need a separate board, and I'm using the standard very cheap MOSFET boards, where you have a control input, a hotbed output and a DC in. The hotbed output is then for the heater module. I've also added a thermistor to measure the temperature inside the printer. The heaters can be pretty power hungry, and you have to figure out what type of power supplies you will be using. I have several of these blade power supplies and also a lot of old PC power supplies. They should be plenty for my small 12-volt heaters, but you have to have a close look at this and also the wires you're using. Wiring this shouldn't be too difficult or dangerous. You just add control signal to the control input, connect the heater to the hotbed and the 12-volt supply to the DC in. Mind the polarity of both the hot end and the DC in. It will not work in the opposite direction. In all of my builds I have a separate controller card for Z, and on that controller board or card there's always available hot end heater output and the hot end thermistor input, and I'll use those for the chamber heater and the thermistor inside the printer. The hot end heater output will be connected to the control input on the MOSFET card. I've installed two heater modules. The one to the right is a 70 watt and the one to the left is a 120 watt. The white wire to the left of the center extrusion is for a thermistor. With all that sorted, we can move on to the configuration in Klipper, and we go to printer CFG. I've added a couple of sections to this configuration file: the heater generic chamber heat and the verify heater chamber heat. The main point here is that I'm using watermark as a control and not PID. It wouldn't make any sense to use PID as there's a very slow reaction to any changes in the heater and the temperature sensor is located far away from the heater. Most of the other values will depend on your heater's performance. I need to get the temperature for the chamber sent from the slicer, and this is my G-code macro start print where I have this third line setting the temperature to 30 degrees as a default unless something else is received from the slicer, or rather set in the G-code. I then need to set this variable from the slicer, and in Orca slicer you have a setting for chamber temperature like this. It's set for 45 degrees in my case. You can set a different temperature for each type of filament. I'm also doing a change to the machine G-code in Orca slicer by adding this variable chamber set to chamber underscore temperature, and that will make sure that I can transfer that temperature value to the printer. Let's try that out by slicing this part and upload it to the printer. You will then see that the chamber heat target temperature is set to 45 degrees. And the changes will be very slow. So in this case it wouldn't make any sense to have a closed loop check with the temperature, current temperature and the target. And remember, the sensor for the chamber heat is in the middle of the printer. It's completely different location than the heaters. This printer is 300 by 300 and would probably need a heater in somewhere around 400 watts. And not the 190 watts I have available. So heat up time will be quite long actually. But I'm confident that we'll get there. And by this point we are at 40 degrees. And if you look at the temperature line, that's the lower one, you can see that it becomes wobbly or oscillates around the target temperature when it reaches it. So that's the effect of the on-off, the watermark control. I don't know if it would make any difference if you could tune this to be a completely stable temperature. I'm not going to try. And this is the completed print. I think it looks alright. It's not been lifting in any corners. There's no cracks between layers. And yeah, I think it's a good result. Just the way I like ABS and ASA prints to be. The two small heaters are a bit underwhelming for the large printer, but they will work in this small one. I still have a bit of work to do to complete this printer and add all the panels, but I'll get there. I've added a second footage with a filament spool for scale, no bananas left. In my next video I'm going to reveal what's underneath this cloth. I've spent ages trying to perfecting this. Hopefully it will work. Hope to see you back, and bye for now.